Guys, I'm over here at Battleship Cove in Fall River. I'm going to be taking a guided tour by my buddy Matt, and we are about to go check out the battleships and what this area has to offer, so come join us. All right, first on the list is the landing craft. What is the deal with this?
These are known as Higgins boats. If you've seen Saving Private Ryan, you see those at the beginning of that. The door drops, everybody comes running off. I don't know much about the history of this exact one, but these are usually used in amphibious assault landings. This is World War II era, so it was used sometime around then. Most likely SOAR action. So.
Whoa, look where we're going now, guys. This is insane. I did not expect to see some helicopters today.
So this is the Cobra. This is like an early, it's like a mini Apache kind of type deal. So these things were in terrible shape, both of these things. They actually used to not be covered. They used to just be like exposed to the elements. One was like in the corner over there. The Huey was in the corner over here. This one was like on the other side near that landing craft that we're just near. And like this was all rusted down here. It was all falling apart. Actually, you can tell this looks like it's a new piece that's been welded on there. So they refurbished these and then they built this structure to cover them and like kind of control the humidity in here and stuff. So this is a Huey. If you've seen Apocalypse Now, Forrest Gump, We Were Soldiers, any Vietnam era movie, this is like, you know, what you see them flying in on, the whole Creedence Clearwater thing. So these were used a ton in Vietnam. Served from 67 till 69. And then it was hit by gunfire, forced to land. It was returned to the U.S. for repair, redeployed in November, and served with the 135th Assault Helicopter Company's Taipan gunship platoon. And then it left in 72. So there's a significant amount of history. This helicopter did see action and gunfire.
Wow. Look at the blades too. That's unreal.
Yeah.
Look at the old school Coca-Cola machine.
Yeah.
Higgins boat. The Dragon Lady, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Look at this. Wow. This place is huge.
Alright, so this is a PT boat that's next to us. If I remember correctly, this is the same type, like the same model of PT boat that PT 109 was of President Kennedy fame, okay? So these things are pretty big. Like, people think that they're just boats, but if you look, like, we're like basically in a plane hangar, essentially, you know? So these things were made out of wood. They were built pretty cheaply because they were just trying to get them out. They would just be like off of coastal regions, and basically they'd be looking out for like easy picking submarines and stuff that would try to come in, and they would have depth charges. They would carry in these tubes right here. Well, depth charges and torpedoes. These are torpedo tubes, and they could drop depth charges. They could shoot torpedoes off the side, and they could try to get those. And then you can see they got a mortar station up there.
Wow,
and then they got some anti-aircraft. That I believe that's a 20 millimeter, the one with the round drum, and then that's a 37 millimeter gun.
Wow.
So, and these things, I think they ran with crews of, I want to say it was around like 15 to 20 guys. So, decent amount of guys on the boat. But President Kennedy was captain of a PT boat that famously got hit by a Japanese ship, and then he swam to an island, and then he wrote, I guess, SOS on a coconut. It's in the presidential library, I believe, on his desk there. So you got your 250 cal pom-pom guns right there, right?
Those things must have been powerful, so I'd imagine they would fire right through an enemy ship.
Yeah, those are probably used more for planes.
Oh.
Yeah, those are anti-aircraft guns.
Wow.
So, look at that little guy.
Oh, look at that. Yep, they have
this is a Mark 7 torpedo tube. Right there. See, so I was right. It's right around 14 altogether. 2 officers, 12 enlisted men. That's how many would live on this ship.
Oh, and you can see inside a little bit.
Yep.
What do you think the range of the bullets were? that those anti-aircraft guns would have? Like how far
The
would they go?
50 cal? I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I mean, they're anti-aircraft guns, so they got to have some punch to them. And these would probably be flak rounds, I'm guessing, too. Well, this would definitely be a flak gun right
You
here.
can see that one with the, it's got an open barrel?
Yeah, that's a flak gun.
Yep.
But these would probably have rounds that would explode as well.
Okay. Wow.
You know, trying to cause more damage in the air. Because, you know, they're aiming at a moving target, obviously. These are where they would carry other things like depth charges, spare torpedoes, things like that. See, you can see this is a depth charge launcher right here. So they could just launch those off. Basically, they time these so that they blow up at a certain depth. So they estimate where the submarine is, drop this, and then if it hits, it'll, you know, cause damage to the submarine.
Whoa. Okay, this is really cool. I'm hearing the Jurassic Park theme.
See, so over here, you can really see that these things are they're just wood. Like they're not really built to last. So there's 2 of them here at Battleship Cove. The other one's actually right behind us. I don't think it's open right now, but you can see it out there. See where the tooth is?
The shark tooth.
I believe it's under refurbishment right now. But the World War II Museum in New Orleans, they have one. That one's actually operational for part of the year. You can actually book tours on it.
That's
so
cool.
if you go visit the New Orleans World War II Museum, it's the National World War II Museum.
Oh.
You can book tours on that there.
Yeah, I'd love to go check that out one day.
And obviously, like, this couldn't operate again. You can see the
No.
propellers are like down in the dirt. This is just basically at this point here for the museum.
And do you think this was refurbished since they brought it in as well?
Oh yeah. They've done a lot of work on this over the years. Yeah. I don't know if they're ever going to open up the inside. I'm guessing because it's a wooden vessel, they probably won't. They have cut some like little like holes in the hull where you can see inside.
Yeah.
Get an idea what the cabin looks like.
All right, we're gonna go check out the USS Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. Looks like this ship was named after Joseph P. Kennedy, who lived through World War II and he was killed in action while flying. So they named it after him in his honor. Let's go check it out. We're also gonna go see the USS Lionfish as well, which I think this might be the submarine. All right, we're gonna step foot on the USS Kennedy right now. Matt's gonna give us a tour and we'll see what this place has to offer.
So this thing did a lot, like historically not a lot, right? But in terms of like capability, it did a lot. So you can see where the barrel is. That's a depth charge launcher off the back. So they had the capability to launch depth charges. They also had these guys. We're not going to talk about these guys a bunch on this ship. We're going to talk about these on the Massachusetts because you can see on the side they have those. These are 5-inch mounts. None of the ones on this ship are open, so I'm just not going to talk about them here. We'll talk about them when we get over there. In addition to that, as we walk forward to the ship, we have, which you can't quite see, but we got a Fram launcher. We have another 5-inch mount on the top, and then I believe there's a storage for a helicopter right up on top of this deck. So we'll go walk around and we'll show you the stuff as we come across.
Going inside of the ship right now. So can you imagine?
Oh, I think they got a lot of this closed now.
Looks like right here, this is where you would collect your mail if you were on the ship. I don't know how they would send mail on the ship.
There were supply ships that would pick up stuff, or there would be airdrops that would pick up stuff.
That's very cool.
These would actually, even though they're enlisted military, they'd be postal workers that would be responsible for delivering mail and sending it and whatnot.
Can you imagine being a soldier on the ship and having to pick up your mail here that was dropped off from a helicopter or something because you couldn't get to the land? Did we get their water over here? Look at this. Wow, what's this over here?
This is a ship store. So like snacks, anything like that, if people wanted to buy.
They would sell cigarettes and
clothing,
shit.
like the patches for the ship, lighters, cameras, all that type of stuff. They sold all this stuff here.
Razors.
Yep.
Look at the old cameras. Look at the difference.
So think of your local convenience store. That's what this was for the sailors on the ship.
So watches, even over here. Zippos. And you can hear the old music playing in the background too. It gives that old school vibe a bit of being here during the World War II era.
So this is this ship's named after JFK's brother. All right.
Okay.
So for people that know Kennedy family history, JFK's brother is the one who the Kennedy father had kind of slotted to be president and have this political career. He died in a plane crash, and this ship was named for him. So that's who Joseph P. Kennedy was. If you're not familiar.
All right, guys, we're continuing down this corridor. Look at this. This is the layout of the ship?
No, these are damage control maps.
Oh.
So, in the event that there were, the ship was under attack or there's issues with damages, I believe these light charts would light up, or they could indicate where there were issues within the ship. So that's what these were. So, in here, I don't know what was originally here. I don't know what type of space was here. I'm guessing it might have been officers' mess, but this is the Commonwealth of Massachusetts memorial to the Korean and Vietnam conflict. So in here they have listed, I believe, everybody that was in the service from Massachusetts at the time of those conflicts.
Yeah, there's the Vietnam Memorial right here.
Yeah. So those are all the soldiers from the Army that,
On the Vietnam
that perished
side?
during the conflict. This is ordnance. This is where they would work on, this is basically like where I believe the warrant officers and whatnot that would handle ordnance and whatnot, they'd be over here and they can work on that type of stuff. That probably goes all the way down. You can see here how deep some of these things go.
Oh yeah, this is a big ship. You can imagine this thing floating on the ocean. It was like its own little city.
Electronics, that's the electronic shop. So if anything electrical needed fixing, this is where they would do this.
Man, they really had this set up like its own community, huh?
Yeah. They're like floating like little towns and stuff.
Yeah. You know what this kind of reminds me of a lot is Fallout 3, when there was that ship that was off of the coast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they would...
I think that's supposed to be the Salem.
They built a community based on the ship. Look at that.
So you can see, like, all of these spaces were like functional spaces that people would work out of.
Everybody had their own job.
These little hallways, these are the access hallways that get you to the front and rear of the ship here. I never go this way, so let's go this way. Oh, we can't go this way, we gotta go this way.
Okay.
It's closed off. Oh, sick bay, so there's their med bay in there. I don't know where their infirmary is though, like if they had somebody that was laid up for a bit where they'd put them, because I can't imagine they'd put them in here.
Oh yeah, yep, you see they got a Bible too, right?
Yeah. But this was their medical bay. Over here, dispersing, this is where people get paid.
Oh, yep, okay. So you still get your money on the ship.
Yeah, they would get paid on the ship.
It's still currency.
Supplies, so this is where the officers and the bosses for that department would be housed.
Look at that office. Abandoned ship bag.
Yeah, this is the ship's office, so I think this is the general admin for all the ship. Laundry would be in here. You can't really see anything, but that's where it would be.
What kind of laundry machines did they have back then?
They would have big industrial ones. You'll see the ones they have on the battleship.
Oh. The light works.
The switch works.
That's cool. They kept the original electricity. Yeah, this is giving me some serious Fallout vibes. Here's the kitchen.
Yeah, so that's the galley. But this is only one of them because I believe this serves the officers' mess. The galley for the sailors is down.
Okay.
It's below us, but I don't think the lower decks are open today. So this is the wardroom pantry.
Whippets.
The ward. Oh yeah, whippets. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
This would service the officers on the ship. So the sailors, they ate below.
This is what they would actually eat. Okay.
Yeah.
So they put the food right there, and they'd serve it right from the kitchen area.
Yeah, and then the captain would sit at the head, obviously, and then he'd have all his officers there.
That looks like a nice comfy couch to chill at.
All right, we'll go up to the bow and then we'll come back. Oh, they got the bow shut up. They're doing a lot of work on this thing.
This reminds me of the Call of Duty level, Black Ops on the battleship.
All right, so you can see they got another 5-inch gun up here. And then there actually used to be one on this deck above us, but they took it out. We should be able to go up there.
Okay.
So I'll show you that. And then obviously they have torpedoes on the side too. So they could deploy any of those against anything. All right, we're gonna head up.
Incredible views, guys. Look at this.
Torpedo tubes. They could carry 3 of them on each side, and then basically what would happen is if there was a sub, they could spin these over the side and they can launch torpedoes straight into the water and chase the sub. And then if you look at the metal here, it's all kind of like wavy. That's because there used to be another 5-inch mount here, but when this one underwent modernization, I think in the late 60s, they ended up taking that out. So there's an example of the type of torpedo it would carry at one point. So this is the Fram deck. So they would have like these Fram, like they were like anti-ship rockets that they could launch out of these systems here. So the ship wasn't launched with this. They put this on later when they modernized it. Here's an example of what one of those guys would look like.
Looks like that's the submarine right there in front of us. 298. Let's go down to the lower deck over here. What's down here?
Oh, I wonder if something happened here. It's this memorial area in honor of Joseph A. Covino and USS DeHaven.
Oh, right there, I see.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the story is. I'm not sure if that was a guy that was maybe stationed in this space. And then he went on another ship and the ship got sunk. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. All right.
These must have been their old electronics, right?
Yeah, those are all the radio rooms down there.
Okay, this is where they would radio communicate.
That's for the fire control radar. So those are the systems that fire control is the radar that does the detection for the 5-inch guns. I'll show you more about that on the battleship because we can't really look at it here. You have your chart room, and then if you go a little farther up, you have the division commander state room. All right. So that's like if typically like an admiral or something came on board and was going to use this. An admiral usually wouldn't be on a destroyer; they'd be on like an aircraft carrier, battleship in World War. Well, this is post World War II. They could stay here, or they could stay in the captain's cabin, and the captain could kick down here. But that's where this would be. This was the chart room, obviously, so they would do a lot of their navigation here.
Oh, yep, you can see the maps. See, like, this is like my forte. Oh, wow, and you can see they have Aquidneck Island, where Newport's located on the map right there. That's very cool. I can hear somebody talking.
Oh, sorry. I remember. That's all right. This is the captain's at-sea cabin, okay? So basically the room that we just looked at below us, that could be the captain's room. It is the captain's room when they're in port. When they're out sea on operations, he's always in here because if something goes wrong there, they need to be able to get him at a moment's notice.
Okay.
So this is where he'd be when they were at sea. So I mean, it's not huge, but it's bigger than any of the sailors have.
Hey, he's got a nice bed at least, right? That'd be nice to just chill out for a little bit, relax.
And then you have the bridge in there.
Yes, the changes were great because they really cleaned them off.
Look down here. This place is red light. This looks like a charting
so
room.
this is it's a charting room, but I also believe turn around behind you right there. All right, so this right here, part of this I believe is combat. Yeah, this is a combat information center, so you can see all the charts over there. This is where they would actually do a lot of the plotting for the guns and whatnot, keeping track of enemy positions. Usually red lights are here because they don't broadcast if they're open, like you know, not a door. What the hell am I trying to say?
If there's like a window, you wouldn't see it's in operation.
Yeah, it doesn't broadcast out, so.
That's really cool. So they could even develop pictures in here, probably.
No, it wouldn't function in that way.
Yeah.
But,
All right, we're about to go on the best view of the ship right now.
this is basically the bridge wing. So like when they're doing docking operations and stuff like that, they would come out here to gauge how close they were. You can see it's right off of the bridge being right to the right of us here.
Yep, there you go. You can see, yeah, how they would actually operate the ship. That's really cool.
I'll show you guys the most interesting thing, if you want to walk forward a little bit.
Which way, this way?
Yeah, keep going. Yo, no!
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah. You know, so you could be out here peeing in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be too happy if I used it right now. Okay, guys, we're going down, back down to the bottom of the ship. Okay. What are these pipes above you, Matt?
I don't know. I'm guessing, I don't know if they're, like if they were gonna drain water. I'm not really sure. I don't know if they're original too, like that's another thing that's tough to tell. Like that could be something that like was added, that like those could have been thrown up there post at becoming a museum ship.
Okay.
So that's the USS Lionfish. You can see they're doing a lot of refurbishment.
That's the sub, right?
Yeah,
okay.
So it's closed right now. You can't go on it. You normally hop on the Kennedy and then you'd get onto that platform and it would go over, but they have it all sectioned off.
I see that right there.
So we're not going to be doing that today.
All right, guys, we're coming up right here to the BB-59, the USS Massachusetts. It is 681 feet long. Can go 31 miles an hour, which is a lot on the ocean. And it's traveled 250,000 miles, it looks like, 9 times around the world's equator. So this is going to be the highlight of the tour, I can tell. And these steps are not rusty at all. These are very easy to walk on. All right. Welcome aboard. Look at this little guy. This is, I would imagine he wasn't a very strong fighter, but he was a real person. Walter D. Peterson. He must have been a great seaman. They called this place Big Mamie. That's cool. And look how wide open this ship is. Wow. I can only imagine how many people were on the decks over here when this ship first was on the ocean, but these views are incredible. In the lighthouse, looks like we have a
It's a barge.
Yeah, cargo barge over here. Wow. I need to really soak that in. So what it's looking like is when they would bring items to the ship over here in the barge, they would use this crane over here to go pick it up on the bottom and bring it over. You can see the barge is still in operation today, and this is one of the most incredible views I think I've seen out here in a while. I am very interested in the history of the ship, but Matt is much more knowledgeable on that than me. My forte is, I guess, filming this kind of stuff. And I gotta say, these views are breathtaking, and the ship itself, you can see behind me, is unreal. So anybody, even if you're a fan of history, nature, whatever, I would highly recommend to come here just to see this and learn more about the ship as well. Here's a good view of the submarine from up here. So cool. There's the ship that we were just on earlier. There's some old rotting docks I would not want to step on. So Matt, what are we looking at up here?
Oh, this is it's like a little platform thing. Actually, if you've seen the movie Don't Look Up on Netflix, Leonardo DiCaprio and I think it's Meryl Streep, they shot a scene on top of here.
Wow.
Yeah, so the gun's in the background, and then there's like fireworks going off over the battleship.
What was the purpose of them filming the scene here?
I forget what it was in the context of the movie. I only saw the movie once, but it was like, I think Meryl Streep plays the president, and she was making some type of presidential announcement.
Okay.
They don't list it as the Massachusetts. They just basically, you know, it's like a nameless Navy ship that they're at doing an appearance at. But yeah, this is actually where they were when they did that.
Wow.
And then looking towards the back over there, that crane, that's for the seaplane.
Yep.
That this thing used to carry. So there's a track along the side over there that actually used to deploy off the side of the ship. The plane would use like a rocket propulsion system to actually gain extra speed coming off the track, and then it would take off in low flight. It could do scouting and whatnot for this, different operations.
Look at the bird flying in the wind.
So this is turret 3 right now. We're actually going to go in there too.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so we're going to go inside that gun house. There's 3 of these turrets. There's turret 3, there's turret 2, and then all the way forward is turret 1. We're going to go inside this one, and then we will go, I believe we can still go to the bottom of turret 2 if it's still open. I'm hoping it is. And then we'll work our way up. So we'll actually follow the ammunition from the base of the ship all the way up to the top. So you'll get to see how it actually loads and how they would actually fire these things.
That's very cool, and you can see how one of them's lowered, so it gives you an example of how they would go down lower and then pull up when needed, right?
Yeah, so this is in loading position right now.
Okay.
So like when we actually go in there, we're gonna go around the side of the back of this gun, and you'll be able to see how they would actually get it. Once it's loaded, it can actually go to the elevation when it needs to. Oh, another thing, they would never fire these guns over the ship. They're always over the side.
Okay.
The force of this thing would break the ship. If they fire this thing right now, like almost all the windows over there would probably be broken in all these buildings. Just the concussive force of the sound.
So it would always be on the side.
Yeah, you're looking at like 600 pounds of gunpowder just to propel these shells.
Yeah,
so
that would make sense.
All right, so we'll go in now.
So I'm not sure what kind of a room this was over here. This actually might be a modern day bathroom utility room, but it's cool to see the little nooks and crannies in the ship that you might not otherwise see. Look at that old car. So we're walking right now into what kind of room is this? It's called the ward room, you said?
Yeah, this is where the office used to be.
Oh wow, yeah, it looks like a little cafeteria.
Yeah. So the sailors would eat like below deck, and then the officers would eat up here. So obviously with this being a battleship, they would have like way more officers than the Kennedy would, because that's a destroyer, a smaller ship. Yeah, so this is where they would eat. And then this is the pantry that would serve them, or the galley that would serve them, which they actually still use this. This is like their snack bar.
So here's the history right here. It looks like that they brought it over here to Fall River to restore it.
Yeah, school children like raised the money for it. So,
wow.
Yeah, my mom lived in the area at the time, and I guess there was like, they sold these little things to raise the money to bring it here and establish it as a museum. So, you know, after World War II.
Wow, look at this. They got a grill out here.
Yeah.
That's
not original.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. What are the purpose of these barrels being more open in the front?
Oh, these are basically flat guns. They're 40mm pom-pom guns.
Yep.
So you'd have they would have multiple man crews, but basically what would happen was like their ammo would be all stored in these things right over here.
Okay.
And then on this side, we come around the back here. You can see we're not going to climb up on that, so it's fine. You can see what would happen here is there would be a seat where that little like gears thing is, right there.
Yep.
And where the 2 feet there, so there would be a guy sitting there. There would be another guy sitting
on the other side.
This one, and one of them would control the circular motion. The other one would control the up-down motion. Now, for the most part, like they were assisted by there's fire control that could like use old mechanical computers to like aim these things. But if for some reason fire control was taken out, they could actually reorient these things with this.
Look, they got a designated selfie spot. Here's the ship's anchor. Look how huge this thing must have been. They had to throw this to the bottom of the ocean to make sure the ship didn't float away. That thing must weigh so much to be able to hold this entire ship down.
There used to be... Yeah, it's not here anymore. I can't remember if it was mounted here or here, but it was in one of the spots. There used to be a thing, a memorial for the sailors on the USS Iowa who died in Turret 2. And that was an explosion that happened, and it ripped its way down through the turret, and it killed like 50 guys. So this is the 5-inch mount. All right.
There we go. Okay, this is cool. We're going inside of the turret.
This is a mount. This is a turret.
Okay.
Now, I've called them turrets before,
Yeah.
but like people that are actually in the Navy, they get like...
Very mad.
Yeah, well, they don't get mad. They'll just correct you on it. So this is a 5-inch mount. Where I'm standing is where the gun captain would stand. There would actually be a bunch of different people in here, and these would get loaded from below us. And these things right here with the pedals that you see in front of you, those are where the shells would come up and the powder casings.
Wow.
And what would happen is this thing right here, if you look where the grooves are, actually you turn around right there. If you look right in here, this is where the shell would go. That little piece that looks like it slides along here, that's like the rammer that would ram the shell in and then close the breech, and then they could fire the gun.
Phew, this is crazy.
Now, if you go forward in there, you'll see there's 2 little seats in there.
Oh, yep.
So guys would actually sit in there, and they would be responsible for like if fire control went down and they couldn't control this gun with the analog computers, they would take over and they would actually be able to turn this gun with those controls. I believe there's some on the sides too. I think there's 2 extra seats for the spotters on the sides as well. You'd have at least 1 to 2 guys on each of these guns. You'd have the 2 guys over here, a gun captain, and I believe like 2 guys on each side. So you have between like 6 and 8 guys in here.
Wow, in the small space.
Yep.
Can you imagine having 6 to 8 people in a small space? It's tight with 2.
No, they're not here all day. Like essentially, the ship goes to like a ready alert status, and then they come in here. It's not like somebody's sitting in that. They're basically here in times of conflict or training, obviously. So.
And where would they even see? Like, where do they even know what they're doing? Just.
The readouts over there tell them what degree they're at.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a team effort. It's like they rely on the fire control towers basically to tell them where to train the guns, and then they can train the guns that way. So there's external information coming into them.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I mean, this is all like, it's computerized in that it's analog computers, but it's circuit board type stuff. Like, this is just like one of the cool view spots up here. It's kind of like hidden. A lot of people don't know how to get here, so.
It's a perfect place.
This is a fire control tower, so there would be guys that would be in here, and they basically are spotters for all the guns around the ship. This one, I believe, would service the 5-inch guns. That big one up there with it's like the prongy things come out of the antenna, that would service the 16-inch guns. There were 2 of them for the 16-inch guns.
Wow.
So they would have range finders and stuff that they could do spotting with. And then the analog computers would actually control the guns, not these, but the 16-inch ones below us. They could actually balance them to the roll of the ship, so they could like put in what level of rate the ship was rolling at, and then the guns would level themselves out to target with these analog computers. These computers just run off gears, basically.
And now, if you ask me, it looks like that these ships were painted the color they are, so in the distance they would blend in with the color of the water on the sun. Is that right?
Well, this ship being gray, it actually was never gray during World War II.
Oh.
This ship was like a bluish camouflage type thing. Even the decks were painted blue.
Okay.
After World War II ended, they painted this gray, which, if I remember correctly, this gray is called Measure 13. It's a battleship gray, essentially. Okay. So this is like Measure 13 is the standard Navy gray that you'd see. So they repaint it every so often. They're in the midst of doing it now. But you can almost see some of the original blue paint, over there and stuff. Yeah, oh yeah. So this is what it looked like during most of World War II. It was this for a little bit too. So
that was the original.
Yeah, May to October 42, October 42 to 47 was this, and then Measure 32. I guess they never used that one, but if you buy like World War II period models of the Massachusetts, which most of them are, the paint recommendation is this scheme right here.
Okay.
Because it actually wasn't the gray. The gray was basically like a peacetime color scheme.
Okay.
The Hayes gray, yeah. But this one right here that we're on, I believe, is Measure 13. So the other one's Measure 12.
What was the purpose of the alphabet being over here?
So this over here is a signal flag station. So essentially what would happen here is there would be flags that would be stored down here, and there would be lines that would be anchored here, and they go all the way up to the top. So this is how they would send messages to other ships.
Oh, okay.
There's one on each side, so both of the signal flagmen, they would be, well, they might even have multiple people working the station. I'm not sure how many people would be assigned to it in a shift.
Okay, I see right here.
Yeah.
These are the keys. You can see what.
Yeah. So you can see down here, there's the grid with everything. It kind of shows you, but it's basically a storage unit where they can just lift the flags out at will if they need to. So,
okay,
that's what we got here. All right, we're gonna head a little forward. And what we're going to find up here is actually the flag bridge, which is kind of cool. This was a shelter area too, in case they were like in bad weather. As you can see right there, bow of the ship. So we're going to come back here, and we're walking into the flag plot.
Look at that right there.
So the admiral's on board. This is where he's doing stuff out of. You can see that right there. When an admiral and his staff came aboard a ship, it was termed the flagship. This is where he would be.
Is that where the term flagship came from?
Probably. And you can see they can do all sorts of charting and whatnot in there. Glass is really smudged though. And then over here, this is the signal shelter, right? So the signal flagmen, they could come in here and do repairs to their flags. They'd have like a sewing station and everything right over here.
See right there, yep.
Yeah. All right, and then coming up here, we'll go towards the back. This is the captain's at sea cabin.
Yep, okay. Let's sleep there.
This is the radar room. You get the battle dressing station. We can't go up that way yet. So.
Okay, we're stepping inside to the lower levels now. Let's see what we can find in here.
Alright, so different working spaces around here, electrical and whatnot. You notice these red tracks that we have above? These were actually for ammunition hoisting and equipment hoisting. So you can see this particular one goes straight into the equipment room. So they could move around heavy machinery. Here we actually have part of the, this is the bakery. Yeah, this is the bakery. Second class seaman filled Dorf. That's Del Fuego.
Hello.
Yeah. This is where you knead the dough.
This is your. Dang, imagine getting your hands or fingers stuck in that thing.
And then we have all the, I believe these are ovens. Yeah, these are electric ovens. Look at that. We've come a long way from the Easy Bake, baby.
I was going to say these are not actually Easy Bake ovens.
As we go, we have the trays where they can put things to rise.
Were these the refrigerators right here?
Muffins. Do you know the Muffin Man? Muffin Man. And this is, I'm going to call this the bagel shop. These look like they would store bagels.
Okay, and then there's the large.
Still kind of smells like an everything. And back here we have our main galley. So, this is where they would feed the entire ship.
They gave them some good stuff.
So this is all the enlisted.
Yeah, they would give them some good stuff, it looks like. I love these old memes that they used to have back then. Yep. Make sure you eat it. Look at this. This is where they would all sleep. In the bunk room. I don't know if they had an actual mattress or not.
Shell damage in this one, if I remember correctly. One of them's got shell damage. Yeah, these are where they would sleep. They would hot rack too. What that means is like basically there were two guys to each bed. So like one would work the day shift, and then the one that would work the night shift would sleep, and then he would get up for his shift, and the guy would come in. So that's why they call it, because it's always hot for you.
Yeah.
It's a warm bed.
Yeah, unfortunately it's not warm from actual heat.
Yeah, this is from human body.
Human body heat.
The natural way.
Wow, look at all these bunks. Can you imagine? This is where you had to sleep after a long day of work. You just had this.
Yeah, they do stuff where the Boy Scouts sleep here and stuff. Like they do sleepovers on these. Actually, the nice thing is they replaced these. These used to be original. They were really gross.
Yeah, I would imagine.
It was all stained and stuff.
I can imagine. Hey, look at this. This is the brig. If you acted up on the ship, they throw you in here. This is the jail.
Yeah, and the Marines would staff this.
Wow. So this is crazy. You had no anemones inside. Oh.
No, they would get taken out to go to the bathroom and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
And this is like the luxury one, right? Here's the prison of the ship. So if you misbehaved, if you used any cannabis on the ship,
you don't doing that.
They throw you in the brig. Check this out, guys. The port and starboard lights would be operated from
that's the man overboard light.
with inside here. Wow. So these different lights, they would press them inside the ship and they would light up each side. So Matt was just telling me this is the ship the Japanese surrendered on. It's now at Pearl Harbor, the USS Missouri. And what's this one?
And then, that's the North Carolina. That's the North Carolina. That's also a museum ship.
Right here's the barber shop. You would go and get your hair cut here. Wow, look at that. They have a little model of the stealth bomber plane. All right, let's see what's over here.
It's the big train gun that the Germans used to operate.
I saw that. I heard about this, and this is incredible that they have a model of this. The railroad gun. This was supposed to be able to, didn't they nickname it the Paris gun because it was supposed to be able to shoot a rocket?
It's bigger than the 16-inch guns that are on this ship.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard the rumor it was called the Paris gun because it was supposed to shoot a rocket to Paris from Berlin. All right, guys, we're about to enter the long-awaited turret that we had mentioned earlier. So let's go down here. This is going to be like a little adventure. Come on with me down here. Let's see what's up here. Whoa. This is like going into a cave. Wow. Okay.
So here, step up to your right on the stairs right there. See them? Turn around.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look at this. This is probably the most uncomfortable seat I've ever seen.
You can sit in it if you want. It works.
It does work. It's cold.
So, this is the turret officer's booth. Back here where we're sitting, there's actually, this is where the rangefinders would sit. So this thing right here is a big, like, telescopic rangefinder. If you look, it sticks out the sides of the turret. All right. So if the fire control towers up top went down, they could actually train this thing. They could. This is the eye of this thing essentially. So you'd see there would be a bunch of guys here sitting here operating this to get readings. Now this little curved thing that you see right here, that the seat's on top of, that's called a rammer. That's a very important piece of how they load the guns in this turret. And there's 3 separate guns. We're gonna look at all the gun rooms. They're on the other side over here. All right, so we're at the back of the turret. The guns are at the front. They're this way, just for anybody that kind of doesn't understand the orientation of it. All right, you can dip down. You're gonna go through there.
Check out this. Okay. This is like a man-made cave right here. Very cool. So that's how you spell turret. Because I'm not gonna lie. For the longest time, I've confused turret with torrent, like those like BitTorrents.
No, yeah, it's turret.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so this is the turret officer section. This is where they would basically run turret operations.
And they would look
so
down
the
here.
officers, these are part of their viewfinders. Yeah, so this would actually spin. This is like a periscope essentially. These are the gun rooms. There's 3 of them. Okay, so this is the first one. This is the left gun. Okay. This is the center gun right here, and then the right gun's all the way down there. All right.
Wow.
Additionally, come over here. This right here is the analog fire control computer. So as I was saying, like if fire control ever went down on top of the ship, you could then use this computer with the readings that these guys get to actually move and train this gun. So at one point in time, like when you'd move these, it would actually move this gun.
Okay, yeah, you can see the That's very cool. I mean, I'm sure, did it feel heavier when they would move it?
No, because it's all like gears, you know, so it hooks up to a bigger gear, and, you know, and all these things were oiled up.
It's like a modern day anti-Kythera mechanism.
Yeah, and then this right here is the ready panel. This tells the turret officer what state each gun is in.
Okay.
So there's a switch in the gun room that they can throw that tells them if they're loading, if it's ready to fire, and then when all these light up, he can radio to fire control.
And this is the greasy switch right here.
Yeah, they can fire the guns from in here. They typically don't, though. They usually fire them from down below in the combat engagement center in the ship.
What was the point of this horn right here?
It's a communication system.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, you can see the rammer housing here. It's basically a big piece of chain link with a big block at the end of it. We're gonna go look at the rammer in action in the gun room down there in a second. So, oh, and this is about like, I don't know, like maybe a foot. It's probably like 10, 11 inches.
Yeah, so,
so.
I would imagine that if you were really tall, you could not fit in here.
So the armor on here is substantial because obviously this is their primary weapon in World War II, so they want to protect it.
Yeah.
So in here, we're gonna come around here, and where we're entering right now is actually the spotter seat.
Yep.
All right, so this is the gun room. This is like,
wow.
This is what this thing is designed to do. All right. So there's 3 of these. There's 9 guns in total. There's 3 turrets with 3 guns apiece. What you're looking at right now is called the spanning tray. That tray where the little handle is that's sticking up, that would actually be in an upright position at 90 degrees. The shell would come up on an elevator hoist through there, okay? Once the shell comes up, that tray goes flat and it extends into the back of the gun. You can see the hole right here. This is the back of the gun right here.
Yep.
And then they would, the control that's over there that looks like an elevator control, you can go forward or backwards, says ram or withdraw. You see it?
Yes, I see that. Okay.
All right, that control right there, they would push the ram thing and it would actually ram the shell into the gun, and they would stop it once the shell had engaged with the rifling of the barrel. They would withdraw the rammer would come back. It would go through that housing that we climbed over. It would come back through here. The next thing that would happen is this door that's right over here, it would open and there would be 2 elevators. One would be behind it initially. The first one would have 3 powder bags. You can see those down here. Yeah. Those are 100-pound bags of gunpowder. Whew. So the bags roll out. What they do is they would put 2 forward into the gun. They would put 1 back, and then they would have the next 3 roll out, and they would just go right in between those right there. And then what they would do is they would very carefully ram the gunpowder in, right? So you can't ram it at the same speed that you ram the shell at, because obviously if these powder bags break and there's there's spark, it could compromise the entire turret. You got to remember too, this thing goes all the way down to like the base of the ship. Yeah. So there's ladders that go all the way down to lower decks there. Yep. Okay, so there would actually be like a bunch of different guys here. There would be 2 guys. There would be a guy sitting in that seat right there. He'd be the rammer man. Whew. Okay. There would be a gun captain, and then there would be an elevator hoist operator in here. Okay. So the gun captain, the elevator hoist operator, you can't really see it, but there's a platform that attaches to the bottom of the gun. Mm-hmm. You might be able to see it from your angle if you kind of like look up and down. Yeah. Like it's right on the other side of this tray. Yes, I actually can see it here. So that platform, they would stand on that, okay? And then what they would do is they would get the, oh no, sorry, it's not that platform, it's this one right here.
The little
see that little platform? It's like an extension of this. So the rammer man would sit over there, they would stand on this, the rammer man would do the ramming piece of it. Down below, there's a ladder, and if you see that, there's a big block down here too, like that big corkscrew looking thing. That's the breech. That's the piece that goes in the back of the gun. So down there's a guy called a primer man. He takes what's essentially a shotgun shell cartridge and he puts it into a slot at the back of the gun. When these guys are done loading this, the rammer man pulls the thing that brings this spanner tray back up so it retracts against that wall. You can see the stopping point right there with that little piece that's sticking out. And then what will happen is this guy lifts the breech. It's hydraulically assisted, obviously, because it weighs like 2 tons. But he lifts that and then he locks it here. At that point, and the elevator hoist guy are going to step back over here, because that red line right there, that is the recoil for this gun. This gun shoots all the way back there when it fires.
Oh wow.
So you can see it travels about almost 5 feet.
Yeah.
And you can't be in the way of it, obviously, it would kill you. So this gun has a huge recoil, and then it recoils on these things back here. So it takes 600 pounds of gunpowder to fire these shells. You're looking at shells that are either 1900 for the explosive rounds or 2700 for the practice rounds or the armor-piercing rounds. And yeah, in World War II, they could load these 2 shells a minute, which is crazy impressive because the shells actually originate below. There's guys below that have to load these elevator hoists, and then they have to load the shells. So the fact that they could do this whole process 2 a minute is incredible at World War II when they had like 100 guys in a turret. Now, in the USS Iowa, what they believe happened was that the rammer guy, they think he actually pressed the rammer too hard, the bags broke, and then it backflashed down the turret. But Did
that ship sink by itself?
No, it didn't sink. They flooded the magazine and they were able to save it. It's a museum out in LA. Yeah, it's in Long Beach.
And guys, I know that it's outdated now, but it's incredible that in the 40s they had TV technology like that. Look at this, guys. This is after they would fire one of the shells from that turret inside, what it would look like, how it would just shatter. That's insane. All right, guys, so I'm gonna end the video now. The tour is pretty much over, and I gotta tell you, it was pretty amazing. I learned a lot about the history of the battleships at Battleship Cove, World War II history over here. And I hope that you guys learned too. The views are also beautiful. If you're into nature, I highly recommend to come check out Battleship Cove. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next hike.